Testing 1, 2. What's going on, traders? Welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk. Today is April 13th, 2025, and we're going to go ahead and share our screen with you all here. We got some news coming out here. Okay, we got some news about Trump exempting phones, computers, and other electronics from reciprocal tariffs. Now, we are going to talk about this a little bit more and how it's going to affect the overall market leading into tomorrow. We're also going to go over a few companies here that we're looking at. And I know Apple is going to be our main focus today. So welcome to the live stream. Give me 1 second to just share my link so that we have everyone who wants to know we're live coming in watching our live stream. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Also, if you want to get live updates like this, consider following me on Instagram. Third link in the description or first pinned comment in the comment section. When you follow me, you will get these live updates. When I see news, tweets, anything like that, I'll post them in my Instagram stories, as well as, maybe a little sneak peek into my life, etc. So consider joining me and following me on Instagram, subscribing to the channel, and yeah, let's get into it. Here we go. Announcement section. And boom, let everyone know we are doing our Sunday Stock Talk today. It is a live session. Are the markets going to be bullish or are they going to be bearish? We are going to talk about that as well. There we go. And our link. All right. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. There has been some news about Trump exempting phones, computers, and other electronics from reciprocal tariffs on China. Guys, we're just talking about how the 145% tariff can affect the overall market, especially companies that, have to deal with, export of those specific components, right? So, one major company that would be affected would be, say, Apple. I don't know if you guys heard, but Apple actually transported, 4 or 5 giant airplanes full of phones across before the tariffs took effect so he can get the maximum amount of, inventory across. And so that affects these big companies. It really does affect these big corporations, these big companies. And now Trump's talking about literally just exempting them. Okay, so we're going to talk about this. Why is this important? Because China's dependency on the U.S. consumer electronics in the U.S. Chinese export is 22%. Okay, so China's exports to the U.S. is 96 billion, but China's total exports, excluding the U.S., is 339 billion. Okay, and they got home appliances, textile, clothing, etc. All this can get tariffed. Okay, 145%, which is insane. They're going to be paying, double, almost a double and a half, almost triple, okay, to get these products over to the US. Now, this is interesting that they're going to do this because, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they're all going to benefit from this. It seems like some of these larger tech companies and semiconductor companies are going to benefit from this exemption. I mean, he's going to put 145% tariffs on China, but then go back and say, but you know what, electronics and stuff are exempt. So I don't quite understand his thought process behind it, but I believe we could expect, maybe markets to slightly recover tomorrow due to this news, especially with companies like Apple, and we're going to look into Apple as well. So yeah, we're gonna check it out here. Hello, hello, welcome. How you doing, Yopton? Okay, also some news real quick. There is a 21% chance that the Federal Reserve, the Fed, is going to have rate cuts. There's a 78% chance that it'll go from, it'll either be a 4 to 4.5, or it'll be 4.5 to 4 and a quarter. Okay, so there is a possibility of rate cuts in May, so that could also be a positive catalyst to the markets as well. All right, so QQQ had a great day on Friday. We noticed it had this downtrend here on this yellow line here, a descending pattern, and we took advantage of it by trading SQQQ. We did really good job by managing our risk, identifying those areas of upward momentum, and locking in profits at the high up here at $39. It went to highs of $39.52 on SQQQ before actually selling off. So we did a great job locking in profits on Friday, as this did continue to sell off as the markets began to recover. Now, I think everyone noticed this as well. Once the market broke this trend line here, do you see how there's a descending trend line? Once the market broke this and retested not only the moving average here, but also verified and held confirmation of it going up, it broke this little downward descending trend line, and as soon as it broke that level, it actually skyrocketed pretty nicely up to 455, which was a previous resistance from the day before and pre-market hours on Friday morning, right? Overnight hours. Now, it is holding above this 45-day moving average on the 5-minute, and I do believe this can go up with these positive news catalysts, with the electronic components and computers and phones all being exempt from these tariffs. Now, looking at the 1-hour chart, you can also see the NASDAQ market has been holding above this 200-day moving average, this green line. It hasn't done this actually in quite some time, since I'd say March 2021 to March 26, but ever since, it's been in a downward trend since February. Now that it's above this 200-day moving average, we can see this actually begin to recover. And if we look at the 4-hour chart, it looks like it has already recovered quite a bit from selling off at those highs of 540 all the way to 398. That was a 26% loss of the overall NASDAQ, but currently it has actually retraced about 15% of that, okay? And if this is starting to begin to show signs of recovery from 454, we can see those all-time highs of another 20% profit, okay? So the market went down 24%. It's already up 15, and we still have the potential to make 20. So the market went down 25%, and it's going to take 35% for it to recover back to those all-time highs. And if you're buying down here, you're making sure that you got in like Apple at those really low levels, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, all your favorite companies at those really low levels, and you start holding these long term as it begins to recover. Now, anything could happen. It doesn't necessarily have to recover. We can go in tomorrow and look, we are still in a bear trend. I want you guys to understand that. We are still in a bearish trend on the 4-hour. Every time it gets close, it gets rejected. Got close, it got rejected. So I believe 460, 470 area is going to be an area to consider breaking, right? 468 was a strong area here. 468, 467-ish was a strong area of resistance just a few days ago. Okay, we're not talking about weeks or months. This is all within a matter of just a few days, a few weeks. Okay. So with that said, was 398 the bottom? Possibly, right? Very possible. We're gonna talk about Apple now as well. Hey Johnny, he's trying to bring the global monetary railroad to the US again. There you go. Switch to a cash account. Good job, man. Good job, cash account. Yep, and so now with the cash account, you could be more confident and say, okay, look, I could use 25% of my total account for one trade if you want to, right? Or 10% or whatever you're comfortable with. but just say 25%, right? That means you can have 4 day trades in one day. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so um, and then that gives you more screen time, more opportunity to find those. Oh, you got in at a bad position. You can get out at a stop. You can average in as it goes down. You can say, you know what, this trade isn't going so great. I'm gonna get into, Apple or Nvidia, and you buy a few shares of this with a quarter year position, and it really opens up a lot more trades. And then you have the ability to sell them, right? So, you don't want to take 3 or 4 trades and only have one day trade available, because then you'll have no choice but to hold those trades overnight. But with cash, you could buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. You have 20 day trades in the same exact day if you want, until you run out of cash. And I think that's such a great way to use your money when you're first starting out as a beginner. It's a great way to do one share test buys. You buy one share of Nvidia at 110 tomorrow. Okay, it goes up to 115. You make $5 on one share, and you had one day trade. Do it over the course of 5, 10 times. I mean, it's amazing. So I think it's a great way for beginners to start practicing and getting screen time on their trades as well. So Apple, we are talking about Apple. It got to lows of 168. Now, with these tariffs being exempt and with some more product in the US, I mean, we're talking like 4 or 5 giant airplanes full of iPhones were shipped across to the US before these tariffs took place. So they got massive inventory. And I believe this can probably go up to, let's take a look, right? Let's see. It's above this moving average on the 1 hour. 4 hour, it's going to have to come up to like about 212. So I'm thinking Apple, if we don't see a huge spike up, instantly, we can get a nice day like we had on Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So on Wednesday, April 9th, it spiked up 20%, guys, 18%, $30 per share. So imagine buying even 10 of these shares, it pushing up $10, you make $100. You buy 100 shares, it pushes up $10, you make $1,000. Okay. It still has the possibility to go up $17 or about 8% to this moving average. Okay, and this is where there's going to be a lot of resistance. As you can see, there has been areas of resistance in quite a few spots recently. All right, we haven't really drew our trend lines for our support levels because it's been completely selling off. But now you have that real nice 3 stages of reversal, and it's already happened. We're already in it, right? You have that sell-off period. You have the consolidation period, which is like a loading phase. It pushed up and it's continuing to push up, and that's where you get those 3 stages of reversal, identifying one, where is that consolidation happening? Where is it making less lower lows? It's not making lower lows anymore. It's not really making higher highs. This would be your consolidation period, and once it spikes up, you're locking in profits. Maybe you're buying again here at a low, you're waiting for it to pop up, or this is just a great opportunity for long-term investors. If you look here, it's at an all-time low at 160, it was at 168. We haven't seen 168 levels since February and April of 2024. Before that, it was September and October in 2023, and before that it was in May of 2023. So it literally came back down all the way to May 2023 levels. And as you can see, even if you go back to 2022, 2021, it's always had somewhat of this resistance or support right around that 168 level. So I did want you guys to be aware of that. We're not just drawing lines for no reason. It does make sense when you look bigger picture. So now it has retraced up, and we have potential for it to go up so much. Same thing with the NASDAQ market. This can go up 53% from $168, $90 a share. Now we have missed a little bit of that move, but don't be discouraged because this has plenty of move left. Say you get it at $200 tomorrow, or even $205 tomorrow. Even at 205 levels, we start seeing signs of that upward momentum. Back up to moving average, that's 228. That's 11% profit. And once it gets back up to all-time highs again around 259, you can see a 26% profit on your investment on a very solid company. which would be Apple, okay? About $53 per share. And we're talking, this doesn't have to happen in a week or a month. I mean, it could happen in a year. But as far as the overall market selling off, I mean, the market sold off already. You know, this pushback itself, 35% in about 100 days. What's that, 3 months? So you can't say this can't recover in 3 months, because it can. Could also sell off more if we get more negative news. The point is we're in a very interesting period. We're not making lower lows anymore. If anything, we're starting to push up. And I don't want us to go from shorting the market, right? Because that's what I've been doing. I've been shorting the market, right, for quite some time. We've been shorting it as the market sells off, SQQQ pushes up, and we've got to that crazy huge high point for SQQQ. It went up to $60 per share, and we got to take advantage of those moves. Now, QQQ pushed up this big aggressive move on Wednesday, and as well as Monday, right? Monday it pushed up, Tuesday it sold off, Wednesday it pushed up really big due to the tariffs being paused. And that right there, my friends, could be a beautiful thing. That's a 15% profit in one day on NASDAQ. And with TQQQ, for everyone who invested in this, it pushed up over 46%, guys. 46% in a single day trading the TQQQ, all right? Same with Apple. Buying Apple at 168, it pushed up 18% in a single day. So this just creates momentum. Everyone right now wants the markets to recover. They want everything to be bullish, right? There's long-term holders, there's investors, there's hedge funds that all are holding these massive dips. You know, Apple's down, Nvidia's down. Nvidia's down, but you could have got it for $86 to 115, 37% profit. You're still holding at those levels, 32% profit. And there's still so much opportunity, even with Nvidia about to cross over that moving average on the 4-hour, pushing back up to those highs of 150s, another 40% profit, $40 per share. Buy 10 shares, make 400 bucks. Buy 100 shares, make 4 grand, right? Simple. Simple, simple. Hope you guys are enjoying. Smash that like button. If this is your first time tuning in, we do Sunday Stock Talks every Sunday. We do our live stream trading Monday through Friday at Market Open for about 30 minutes to an hour. And then our new series we just started on Saturdays, our Saturday Dividend series, where we talk about how you can add monthly paying income or stocks that pay monthly dividends into your portfolio, so you can get that sweet, sweet, safe money coming into your portfolio every single month. So Yokton says, so I have another clarifying question. If I have 500 in an account, do a 500 trade and I win, can I not trade for the rest of the day? True, yes. So if you only have 500 and you use the 500, you sell, you make 510, 520, unfortunately that is your trade for the day, because that is all your money. Okay. Now, if you had a $100 trade, you could have 5 trades, because you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 day trades if they're $100 each. And honestly, with a small account, I would start there, Yokton. You know what I mean? It would give you a little bit more screen time. You'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable. You're not putting 100% of your position in each trade, Hail Mary. You can do, you know, $100 on SQQQ when it starts to go up, or Nvidia, right? You could buy 1 share of Nvidia, let that push up to 120. Now you made $20, $10, $20 on that first trade. Build up that confidence. You know, maybe you get TQQQ. We see it recovering tomorrow, and we buy in at 50. So you buy 2 shares for 100, and it pushes up to 58. Now you made $8 per share, or you made $16. Imagine making $16 on $100. That's 16%. Now I know you'd want to do that with $500 and try to maximize your return, but at the same time, what if this trade fails? You know, you want to make sure you manage your risk. You don't want to hold 500 and be like, it's going to recover, I just know it, and then you lose 100, 200 bucks, because it never does recover. $100, 2% loss, that's $2 to $5 loss on each $100 trade to get between $10 and $20 in profit. Okay, you want a nice like 1 to 1 to 2 ratio, but as a beginner, you may even want like a 1 to 5 ratio. Like I risk $1 to make $5, $2 to make $10, and I hope that helps. So by being able to do that, say TQQQ pushes up to here, you make 10 bucks off of 1 or 2 shares. Once it hit this line, if it gets rejected, you go to SQQQ and you buy a little bit of this. Or you like the way let's see, $100. Yeah, you know, I mean, you could, Nvidia would definitely be the one I would be looking at, right? There's also partial shares on here on Webull. You can get partial shares. So right here it shows share percentage and amount. You can hit amounts and you could just do the amount you want. So if you want to trade $50 of Apple, you can do $50 worth of Apple, and it'll show like point so much point, you know, of a share. You just have to switch over your differences there. So I hope that helps. What else, guys? What else? Bitcoin. VIX actually is under 40. Now, I did find out some new information on the VIX index. Whenever it's over 40, that means there's going to be high volatility and there is a lot of fear, basically. When it's below, that means there's going to be low volatility, basically the exact opposite, and there won't, you know, so there won't be as much volatility. So when it's over 40, super choppy all over the place. You're getting 8, 10, 15% days in the NASDAQ. When it's below 40, even down in these 20s, you're going to start seeing barely any movement, maybe back to that 0.5%, maybe 1% movement daily that we know and that we love. That's easier to trade. NASDAQ moves 1% in a clear direction. We trade TQQQ and make 3%. It begins to sell off because we identify that it's selling off slightly, 1% for that next day. We get into SQQQ and make 3%. So that's that small light volatility that I like to trade when trading the overall NASDAQ market. So, you know, even this day here was a beautiful trade. You know, it pushed up 3% on the day, which means TQQQ pushed up 9%. Imagine making 9% a day, 5 to 10% a day on your trades by just trading the NASDAQ. Well, it's possible, and that's what I've been doing for a while. Now, I was trading Bitcoin. We can go over that now, like I said, any Bitcoin fans. But since Bitcoin has been selling off from 109, I haven't really been wanting to short it, right? I like to pick up Mara. I've traded Mara in the past. I mean, a lot. Look at this, guys. We've made a lot of money on Mara. All of these little marks are trades back from May of 2024 all the way to most recently, you know, January 2025. I traded a little bit in February, but I like this because, again, horizontal patterns. You're buying those lows, you're selling the highs. You're buying the lows, you're selling the highs. And this correlated very well with Bitcoin almost a year ago now. Right now, not so much. The correlation between it's really weird. There's been a lot of dilution with the shareholders. So I don't really trade it as much, but Bitcoin is at 74,000. It is hitting that support level, which was a previous resistance level back in March of 2024. I mean, it's crazy how this stuff works. I was telling people it's going to go to these levels a while ago, and I'm not here to say, hey, I told you so. I'm just here to tell you, like, history tends to repeat itself, guys, and these major dips, these major pumps and these dumps and then pumps and then dumps again, it's all the same. Okay, I want you to know that. No one thought it could hit 90,000 or 80,000. It got all the way down to 74,000. We went back to highs of March 2024, and we're able to pick up and buy more again. So if you think that Bitcoin is valuable, you know, this may be an opportunity to buy. It also kind of is correlated with the market a little bit. So when the market recovers, Bitcoin recovers and vice versa. Now, this can easily go back up to 106,000 if we begin to go into a booming market. Tariffs are beginning to be exempt. Trade wars kind of subside. You know, Fed starts to begin rate cuts. Like, we can start getting into a really positive area. And what I want you guys to realize is everyone's been hating on Trump. And it's insane that, like, Trump basically did this correction that should have happened a year or two ago, which could take a year or two. Okay, past history has shown 9-month bear markets, 1 year, 2-year bear markets. Trump literally did all of this in like 3 months, 3 or 4 months. guys, let's do this. Let's make this market go down. Let's make everything cheap again, get everything corrected, fix everything we need to fix in 6 months or less. So now we could spend the next 3.5 years of him being in office going up with the market, right? And that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in. I believe the market will eventually recover. And all of this is happening for a reason, guys. Yoked in, been loving the new series to dividends. I'm glad you like it. I got another one coming out. I'm going to give you guys 3 monthly paying stocks until I run out of really good ones. Give you some 5 tops, 10 top playlist for those. And then once we go from all the monthlies, we may have to get into quarterly, or we can go backwards and go weekly. I know there are weekly ETFs right now that aren't doing great, but we will be covering some weekly ETFs. Yeah. Before it was only monthly, quarterly paying. Then it was monthly paying stocks. Now you have weekly paying stocks. Literally, they pay you out every single week. So we're going to go over those as well. Bitcoin is a new exchange. I'm interested in Bitcoin long term. Yep, Bitcoin long term. So this would be the point to start loading up under 80,000, 70, 80,000. I could see that being really nice and pushing up to those $100,000 levels. You're making another 27%. So all across the board, guys, you can make 20, 30, 40% on many of these companies, including Bitcoin and just trading the NASDAQ overall. Because the market came down so much, we're able to take advantage, put money in, and let our money grow as the markets begin to recover. So it's a beautiful thing. I love to see it. Some of these other companies that I was kind of looking at here, we can go over a few. Tempest, not looking so good. It actually broke that ascending horizontal pattern here. Some beautiful moves were made from lows of 32 to highs of 78. Back to lows of 32 to highs of 91, and now everyone's just waiting and anticipating for that bounce to happen. But again, that trend has been broken, so there will need to be some type of a new trend to actually do something with Tempest AI. Celsius above that moving average. I like to see that it's getting above right here at $38. Again, I said if it goes above $38, I'm going to start loading up on Celsius. It is an energy drink. They are very profitable. They're above that moving average. Lows at 21 to highs of 37. So we already missed a really nice move here. But again, it's all about confirmation. If we bought at 21 and it went to 19, 18, 17, hey, we're going to be losing money. So by having confirmation that this is now not only up another 78%, which is just crazy to think, but that it's above this overall moving average. It hasn't been above this moving average since, I would say, January to June of 2024. Okay, and last time I got above that moving average, it popped up over 90% to $99, guys. Could we see that happen again from $38 to possibly $98, 153% profit, $60 per share? It's possible. It's very possible. So this one's definitely on our radar for the next couple of weeks ahead. Celsius. Century Aluminum. Okay, it's the same companies every week, to be honest. Same companies every week. Celsius will do great in the summer. That's when I buy mine. Okay, very nice. We're almost to summertime now. And remember, guys, I'm going to be live day trading in the morning. So definitely check out our live day trading session at Market Open. Century Aluminum, again, a really nice solid pattern. It had this support level right at 1650, almost like clockwork, guys. If you bought at 1650, you knew you were getting in at a good deal, and you could ride this wave up to $20, even $22 at one point. I mean, we're talking about making literally 20% in 5 days, 26% in 7 days, 25% in 18 days, and a whopping 38% in about 14 days, guys. Now, this was solid. We were looking at buying it. We started loading up, and it broke that support. And guess what? It's introduced a new low, 1305, which would now put 1650 as a resistance. So this is not a company that I'd want to trade. Again, it's going to have to get above $17 and prove itself. This is Century Aluminum. Okay, so due to tariffs, this was affected slightly. Now, tariffs are not going to go away for aluminum as of right now, because right now he's only exempting computers, electronics, and like microchips. but we can see. We can wait and see. Okay, loading up at 13 would have been solid. You would have already made $2 per share or 20% profit. But that's okay. There's still potential here. If you can get up above 1650, buy at 17, sell, load off at 20. If it gets to those levels again, we're talking 23% profit on Century Aluminum. Palantir, man. Palantir is just one of those companies I wouldn't mind holding. They have a great solid company. They have their use of technology is insane. I mean, they could be using it for far more than just their you know their bike or whatever it is. So this one's below. So I'd love to see Palantir go back up to those 125 levels. Again, I want it to hold above this 200-day moving average. When it holds above it, it does very well. When it's below this green line, it does very poorly. Okay, and we want to make sure we get a good price. So, if it can hold above, get up to those 92 levels again, maybe $92 would be where we want to pick up some Palantir. Okay, with that said, Palantir pushing up to 125 from 92 levels. Pooh, boy, 36% profit. Okay, all of these are big moves, big moneymaker moves. Now, SoFi Technology, not really liking it right now. It's kind of at this support range of like $10.50. It got as low as $8, so that would have been a great price point to buy. But again, this could sell off even more. SoFi is, of course, like a banking technology company, online banking. And so potential here with SoFi, but not seeing it at the moment. Probably have to get above at least $12 and hold above that level for us to start seeing some upward momentum here. Doesn't mean you can't start taking a few shares now and loading up very cheap right now. SMCI, again, super microcomputer chip company. It's holding levels above 32 right now. That's what I like to see. This might be a good area to load up on SMCI, but I just overall behind the scenes of this company and kind of past history, it's not a company that I would technically want to invest or hold in right now. Okay, so Lunar pushing up. Of course, it pushed up from $7 to 24. We got to experience those levels. We got to trade a little bit of it on the top and kind of missed that whole front side of the move. Here could be an area of loading up, guys. $6.90, $7 seems to be a pretty common area for support as this begins to just consolidate at those levels, kind of flatline, right? Now, if we can see this eventually pop up, I do have my alert set for $10. I'd love to see, anything above $10 on this is probably a really good deal. Anything below 10 is a good deal, but again, we want to make sure we get that upward momentum confirmation. 3 stages of reversal. We have that rejection period, we have this choppy consolidation period, and then eventually we get that confirmation period. And we want to make sure that we're on this front side of that upward move, or the back side of that reversal, right? We want to be in this area right here. Now, consolidation area could be a great area to load up and buy more, but again, this could also go lower. $5, $4, $3, okay? XPEV, very solid, pushed up from $15, creating a new support level. I kind of like that area. A little bit of a kind of a over exaggeration, I would believe, on XPEV. Failed to mention it. If you don't know, SMCI is a super microcomputer microchips. Lunar is a space exploration company. They currently have 2 or 3 missions right now running. I believe one's already on the moon, and I think there's 2 going toward it or something. XPEV is our Chinese car company, electric car company, which will be having flying vehicles by 2026. They already got a patent, they already got the license, they already got all kinds of stuff from their government agencies to start allowing public access to these flying vehicles in 2026. So that's going to be very interesting to see the history with this. Now, again, pushing up from 15 to 27. This already pushed up from 15 to 20, so very nice recovery already, 29% recovery, and it's still potential to go up even more. If we catch this at 22, would be probably my more comfortable area. It's above that moving average. Pushes up to 27, see a 23% profit. If you want to get in now, you can see a 36% profit. And if you got in at those lows and we called it out at 15, you could see overall 73% profit on that position. So very cool, very interesting, and I love to see it, but 22 is going to be the area where I feel comfortable buying and holding. Okay. Because remember, you buy at 20, this can come down to 15 and get a retest. And if it does get a retest at 15, maybe I would consider buying because then the moving average would be much lower. SoundHound AI, very last one that we're going to talk about. Another technology-based company. Now, a lot of people say if you're going to invest in Sound, you might as well invest in Robinhood, but I don't see how they're correlated. I need to do a little more research on that, I guess. Or SoFi, I get those confused too, but SoundHound AI is basically just another controversial intelligence company, AI-driven, automotive smart devices, blah, 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 right? Bunch of stuff. So with that said though, SoundHound pushed up from $8 to $24. Doesn't mean it has to get back up to those levels, especially considering this has been very bearish. It has not been able to get above this green line here, our 200-day moving average, ever since it broke it in January of 2008. Are you kidding me? January 2008? Maybe that's wrong. Let me back out here a little bit. 2025, so January of this year. Okay, so yeah, so January of this year, January 8th, it broke that moving average and hasn't been able to get above it since. If it can get above that moving average and hold, I would say even get above 1050, then maybe we can get a good deal. Maybe 950. We'll start there, but no, I was gonna say, let's just say 11. It's going to have to get up to $11, right? Get past this resistance, a previous resistance at 1050, and get above that moving average to start seeing that upward momentum. Now, some upward momentum here. Down here at the low to high could be 189% profit, guys, okay? That could be an insane amount of profit. And if you wanted to wait to about $11 to be safer, we could see, a nice 125% profit. Doesn't mean it has to. These companies can continue to sell off, but I just want to let you know those are the main companies that I'm looking at. I'm not invested in them long term, nor do I have any day trade or swing trades on them. It's just something that I'm looking at. So tonight at 8 p.m., the markets will officially open, and we will begin to see what the market does. I believe it's going to definitely spike up. I believe this will create a new support here at 450, and you may even say bye-bye to these lows of 398 and 400. If you didn't get invested and start buying at these lows, then the best time would be now, right, to start investing, because the more we wait, the more this can push up. But at the same time, I want you to be aware it can still get rejected off of this moving average for a few days and consolidate. Tariffs are paused, they're not gone. And overall on the weekly, this hit very nice. Last time we sold off, this sold off 30%, 37%, hit that moving average. Took about a year, but here we sold off dramatically 25% and recovered literally 10% already. So, you could say we already had our bear market and we're already getting the bounce, or this could just be the beginning and we can actually come down and touch this, 380 level. But only time will tell, right? We were just at 432 on Thursday. We were just at 398 not even a week ago. So it's a very new potential reversal on the market. All right. This was literally on 4-7. So Friday, Thursday, this was Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, right? So our lowest day was Sunday night overnight and Monday morning, and it popped up. So we could see this happen too, where it pops up overnight and pushes up past 460, 470, 480, or it could potentially get rejected. We need to wait and see what happens. But that is the end of our live stream. What is that, 38 minutes? Looks like we had quite a few people watching. Now, if you guys have any stocks you want me to look at, throw them into the comment section and I'll take a look at them. Anything, don't matter what it is, I won't mind looking at it. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to think about it, but we'll run through these. Apple, again, nice reversal pattern here. Microsoft, same thing, staying above those new highs. Nvidia, above and above that moving average. Same thing with Amazon. So everything is starting to retrace from those lows. Everything's beginning to recover, and we don't want to miss out on this bull run. So we've been trading SQQQ for a while, and as the market now begins to recover, we will switch over to TQQQ. Potentially, Nvidia, because that it's potentially cheap. We could buy, you know, multiple shares of Nvidia. 110, we could buy 20 to 30 shares, 20 to 30 shares of Nvidia, and Nvidia pushes up from 110 to 115. I mean, we're talking $5 a share, $10 a share if it goes to 122. Not if, but when it goes to 122. Even buying 10 shares, $20, some decent money there per share. So PLTR, I'm pretty sure we just went over PLTR, but yeah, we could go over it roughly again here. I was saying that if it breaks 92 and holds above the moving average, then this would be a great buy. I mean, it is still a good buy right now, but for some upward momentum, we want to see it hold this moving average, because when it doesn't hold, it'll come back down and we can buy it for cheaper. Okay, I want you to know that $70 is a pretty good support. $70 has been a solid support for quite some time. And right now, resistance, I'd say we're catching a little bit of resistance at right where we are currently, about $90, $80, $90. Breaks 92, we'll see a little bit more confirmation. And if it can break above, 98 or even that $100 mark, then, sky's the limit from there. But overall, looking very good. There has been opportunities to buy at 70 and sell at 97. So there was already a 40% move that happened there. And more currently, a nice 40% move that happened in 2 days right here, buying at 65 to 92, 93. Okay, so 93, bit of resistance, but I believe we can break it. Yeah, hey, don't worry about it, man. Yeah. You can go back and listen to a little bit more of the other recap, but I hope that helps. I think could come down to 80 again before going back to 98. Yeah, definitely looking at, let's see, looking at the, yeah, I could see that on the 30-minute coming down and retesting. Or even down on the 1 hour, retesting the 1 hour. Yeah, I could see that. A lot of consolidation between 80 and 86, 80, 85. So yeah, very good call out on that one. I do have my alert set. Again, if it pops above like 92, I'll be going long on it, right? But because even for what you said, if it can come back down, why buy it at 92? You know what I mean? Buy it when it's lower at 80. But for me, I want that confirmation. It's got to hold above this moving average, which would be 85. So look out for 85 as a support as well, due to that green 200-day moving average. Okay. Hey, thanks for asking. All right, I'll do one more. One more. Anybody got another stock they want me to do a review on? I could do one more. And then we're going to end the live stream. Also, I talk about tariffs, news, and how Trump is exempting basically all electronics from China. So like the 145% tariff won't even apply to electronics, and electronics is like 22 or 30 something percent of all of their export anyways. So go to the beginning of the video. I talk a lot more about it if you want. Yoked in ATOM, Micron. Okay, all right, we got some good ones here. I could do both of those. ATOM. Is that Atom? Is that crypto? Is that the Cosmo? Or are you talking about Atomera Inc? Atomera Inc? Is this it? Yoked in? Crypto. Okay. So Cosmo. I used to trade that. Cosmos. I used to trade this, believe it or not, on Coinbase. Back at these levels. When it was in the 10s and 40s. And then when it chopped in the 25s and 40s, I traded Atom. Or invested in it, right? Few hundreds of dollars. Nothing crazy. Well, it's back to where it was. It's back to all-time lows. And you see the support? I drew the support here many moons ago. Looks like $4, 4.20, $4 is like a support. It's at 4.28. So, I mean, as long as it holds above 3.90, looks like it got down to 3.39. It looks like it's trying to hold up to that, basically that $4 support. So, as long as it can hold above $4, we can see Atom doing well. And now that Bitcoin's recovering, we can see this again. We could see this go up with Bitcoin. I wouldn't say any crazy Hail Marys like back to 44 or anything, because due to like just all the dilution and everything, and just overall just kind of where the market is now. Like crypto's just not as huge as it was five years ago, right? Five, even 10-ish years. So, but you could see maybe back up to $9, potentially if Bitcoin pumps. Which would be a nice $5 per share, 124%. And guys, at $4, you could pick up a ton of shares, okay? A ton of shares. Pick up 100 shares for $400, and it goes up $5 a share. You can make a decent amount of money, or 1,000 shares, right? Okay. Micron, Tina, Micron. So that's was that MU? Micron Technologies. All right, so Micron Technologies has been taking a beating, guys. It has been taking a beating. It even fell below its previous support of $82. I mean, this was a very great support for a long time, $82.60-ish level, and it broke that level. Now it's at $60. So let's see. Let's take the all-time high down, and let's take a bigger look at this for Tina. 61.50 looks like it's low. So we're going to go ahead and mark 61.50 right there with the support level. And yeah, I mean, that does look very nice. As you can see, a lot of consolidation back in August of 22 through, October of 2023. So about a year of kind of choppiness between 47 and 61. Okay, I want you to be aware of that number as well. 40, 47, $48. That's where it was really choppy over the last few years, pushing up all the way to 156. Coming back down, and if you noticed, it is below that moving average. So Tina, it is indicating signs of it being bearish. Every time it comes up to this moving average, it gets rejected, and it gets rejected hard. Okay, so I want you to know that we're gonna have to get above this moving average, which right now is around $99. It can come down to maybe 96, 95 by the time this pushes up. Again, it is a moving average, but MU looking decent. It did pay a dividend, 11 cents per share. 3/31 was the dividend date. So they are paying a quarterly dividend still. That is a good sign. And you could potentially get into this company cheap, right? $69. If it pushes back up to that moving average, like it has been doing, you can see a nice 42% profit. Okay, $30 per share. Now, do you think it'll get any higher than that based off of previous history? Not really. If you're shooting for 114, I just don't see it getting there. Now, if it can get good news and get above $100 and above this moving average, then certainly it can get up to 114, 140, 150, and beyond. But through history and just the way this looks currently, we're going to want to be very careful. Had a major sell-off, but this can potentially recover back to that moving average. Hey, 40% profit. Great call out, Tina. We're definitely going to keep our eyes on this, as MU is very cheap. It's a very cheap company to buy into. But just know, previous support levels will now be resistance levels as well. So this could have made a lower high, and we could have went from, highs of 100, 109 to now only seeing highs of 82. So be very aware of that, okay? This can begin to chop within this range now. Okay, hope that helps, Tina. Hope that helps. All right, guys, top 5 stocks, not tech. Fave smaller mid caps to trade. Flavio Meta. Flavio said Meta. Let's see. Meta. I believe we went over this briefly. Meta is below that moving average currently. Okay, it is below that moving average, but it doesn't mean this can't potentially go back above. Now, it did find some resistance. Look at this. Okay, a lot of resistance, looking just like the overall NASDAQ market, from 740s down to 465. I mean, this is a steal now, guys. 37% discount. on Meta. Now, Meta's interesting because it's been getting rejected at this 200-day moving average, which looks like it's right around 586. So we could see a really beautiful retracement tomorrow again with the markets. The markets recover. A lot of these companies are going to recover as well. We could be in a very good opportunity here to make some money. So if it recovers back to this moving average, we can see an 8% profit. But gets this, $45 per share. So you're like, oh, 8%? You just said 30% on these other companies. But those 30% moves were only $5, $10, $20. This is an 8% move, and you can make $45 per share, okay? And that's just the beginning. If this begins to recover and get above that moving average, 740s, we can see that 40% profit we're looking for, or $210 per share. But what we want to be aware of is it's been getting rejected. So until it gets above this moving average, it's not something I would personally invest in. We don't want to invest in anything that stays below and continues to go lower. We want to do the exact opposite. We want companies that are like this, that are pushing up and staying above this moving average over time, holding its value and going up as the moving average goes up, right? Great call out. Another great call out from you. Thank you, thank you. Oh wow, we actually got quite a bit now. Okay, well, how are we doing? Let's see. Meta, top 5 stocks, not tech. Fave small and mid caps to trade. I mostly trade the Qs, SQQQ, TQQQ with market direction. Opinion on MSTR, lens, CZJ. Very accurate analysis on MU. I agree. J&J. Okay, guys. I'm gonna do one more. Okay, one more. This guy picked out 3, but I want to know why. Why are you asking for that particular company? Like J&J long, J&J short? Are you looking for a reversal setup? I mean, literally everything's overbought and in that reversal setup period. So, but yeah, let me know, okay? MSTR, I feel like that's really Bitcoin related. So, it's going to track Bitcoin. But remember, MSTR is diluted, and Michael Saylor is just, he's a little kind of nutty. He's nutty. He's buying at all-time highs. He's diluting his shareholders and using the money to buy more and just super over leveraged. I think their share price for Bitcoin is like 65 or 70,000. I mean, he doesn't have a good average anymore. Probably used to have a good average. Leave MSTR, just buy Bitcoin. Yep, just buy Bitcoin, honestly. J&J, okay, let's see. Johnson & Johnson, that seems like a pretty reputable company. Long term. Oh, I love the choppiness. I love the choppiness. Even before market began selling off, this is a nice, beautiful horizontal trade pattern. Okay, great call out, Yoked-in. This is beautiful, guys. Okay, why is this beautiful? Because since February of 2021, okay, before any of these tariffs or any of this stuff really came about, it's literally been trading within this horizontal pattern, knowing, look, anytime I buy at 140s, I know I could be selling at 160s to 170s, in a very short amount of time. Last time this happened, let's see, 141 to 160, 17% profit in about 150 days. So that is definitely a longer term hold here. 12% in 80 days, 13% in 70 days. This last push was 17% in 70 days. And this one here, 20% in 70 days. So that's interesting. You heard a lot of 70, 70 days, 70 days. So with that thought process, we can think, okay, well, maybe we can begin to load up down at these levels, 140, 145, 150, and catch that nice big move up. And it looks like it's already beginning to happen. From those lows, it can make 20% profit or $28 per share. And it could do it in a small amount of time. It doesn't have to do it in 70 days. It could actually probably do it in 20 to 30 days, especially if the market recovers very well. Now, with that said, it's already up to $152. So we already missed literally $10 per share or 7% of this move. But don't fret. I don't know why I said that. I never say fret. Who says that? Don't fret. I don't know. Anyways, 151, 152, even if you buy at, say, 155, you just miss that entire move in the next couple of days. buy at 155, pushes up to that 160 level. That's $5 a share. Hey, 3%. Pushes up to 169, 8% profit, $13 per share. So Johnson & Johnson definitely looking very nice. I feel like I missed out a little bit on the loading phase, right? Because look where it's at already. It's already up to 152, guys. I believe the loading phase would have been really nice down in these 140s, maybe even 145 levels. Would have been a really great area to buy and load up on Johnson & Johnson. Now selling range, I'm saying selling range is 165 to 169. So when this pushes up, sell. When it comes back down, buy. When it goes back up, sell. And right now, if you're a long-term investor, your position ain't going nowhere. You bought at 170, it goes down to 140, it didn't move. You buy at 140, goes to 170, it moved a little, right? It moved a lot more than just breaking even. But right now, 170 does not seem to be an area that it 170 seems to be like an area of a lot of resistance, a lot of consolidation, and it's just one of those areas where, hey, we can't get above 170 right now. And that's okay. These horizontal patterns are the best ways for beginners to start trading in the stock market. Yes, everyone wants to get into a company that just goes up like this, but it doesn't always happen that way. And you could buy Johnson & Johnson at any point in time over the last years, and it's done nothing but go up. Okay? Right now, I don't see that happening. Very choppy, a lot of consolidation. And when there's a lot of consolidation, what does that mean for our 3 stages of reversal? It'll actually reverse. So we want to be very careful that we don't get stuck holding the bag either on some of these plays. Okay? Not saying Johnson & Johnson's going anywhere. And in the past history, it's had a few sell-offs toward the beginning, which is a little scary, right? From 5 to 76, from 25 to 67. Very choppy toward the beginning of its stages of life, I guess. And we're starting to see a lot of choppiness here. So Johnson & Johnson, great call out, but be very aware of where those support and resistance levels are. And if it gets above this moving average and the markets are bullish, we can see a really nice push up for Johnson & Johnson and all these companies, to be honest. Okay? It's a great time to buy, guys. That's what Trump said. All right, guys. Well, with that said, you all know what time it is. We have a lot of people on here. Give me a thumbs up. Smash that like button if you enjoyed today's Sunday Stock Talk and game plan for next week. What is our game plan? Is the market's going to be bullish? Are they going to be bearish? Guys, I really am leaning toward more bullish than anything, just due to some of these tariff pauses, potential rate cuts, and this new electronic exemption for China. So let's charge China 145%, but then on their largest export, let's exempt them from even paying it at all. A little fishy, but I like to hear it because that just means we can actually begin to buy some really solid companies at a really great price and begin to trade TQQQ instead of SQQQ. I'm getting a little tired of trading these and shorting the market. I'd love to be able to go long on the market and have a little bit better sense of we're going the right way, right? Because when you short a market, you never know how much it can go down and when it will recover. At least we're in a bull market. It's nothing but sky's the limit up from there. So again, hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate your guys' time. If you want to catch me trading live in the morning with everyone here as well who's tuning in today and get inside my head why I'm buying and selling these particular stocks, follow along and watch me as I grow my what was a $200 account January 1st this year to now close to $3,000 and ultimately trying to reach $25,000 by the end of this year by day trading really good solid companies that I believe you guys can learn from my mistakes and my successes. So again, appreciate you guys' time. Like always, remember, smash the like button and remember, let's end the year on a green note. See you tomorrow morning. Don't be late. Just kidding.